The engine idles, a low, rhythmic vibration against the floorboards. Outside, the city is a stagnant river of steel and brake lights. You check the clock. Minutes bleed away into the asphalt, trapped in a gridlock that stretches toward the horizon. Then, you reach for the console. One press. The wheels tuck inward, folding into the frame with a mechanical whine. Thrusters ignite, pushing a sudden, sharp gust of air against the pavement. The vehicle lifts. The chaos of the street falls away, shrinking into a blur of color and noise as you rise vertically into the open sky. This is not a scene from a distant film. It is the immediate reality of our near future. Today, we are counting down the 11 most incredible, game-changing vehicles. From machines that ignore the friction of the road to vessels that bridge the gap between our atmosphere and the stars. These innovations are dismantling the limits of travel. Stay with us until the very end, because the final entry will fundamentally alter how you view the concept of movement itself. The future is no longer waiting in line. It is already taking flight. We begin our countdown at number 11 with the amphibious car. This is a dual-purpose marvel that refuses to acknowledge the traditional boundaries of a commute. You drive off the pavement and straight onto the riverbank. The chassis settles, the propulsion system shifts, and the wheels retract as you glide onto the water. It turns the shoreline from a barrier into a gateway, proving that the divide between land and sea is now entirely optional. At number 10, we move from the water to the air with the hoverbike. Imagine a motorcycle that has shed the weight of the road. It operates like a high-powered drone, lifting you entirely out of the reach of the streets. Picture a massive, stalled traffic jam in a city like Dhaka. While others sit motionless, you simply rise into the air, banking over the congestion and gliding toward your destination with total indifference to the gridlock below. By eliminating the need for asphalt, these machines do not just improve travel, they bypass the very infrastructure that has defined human movement for centuries. The road is no longer a requirement. It is merely a suggestion. With these two entries, the rigid geometry of our cities begins to dissolve. At number 9, we encounter the water car. This machine takes amphibious technology to a new level of endurance, specifically engineered to handle the turbulent currents of rivers and the corrosive salt of the open sea. It is built for stability, allowing you to cut through waves that would swamp a standard vessel. But if the water car masters the surface, the next entry masters the very concept of distance. At number 8, the Hyperloop pod enters the scene. This is not merely a vehicle. It is a projectile in a controlled environment. By operating within a low-friction vacuum tube, the pod eliminates the drag that limits every other form of transport. It accelerates with a smooth, relentless force, reaching speeds exceeding 1,000 kilometers per hour. Imagine stepping into a terminal in one city and stepping out in another, hundreds of kilometers away, in the time it usually takes to finish a single cup of coffee. A journey that once demanded hours of your life is reduced to mere minutes. The friction of the world, the resistance of the air, and the slow crawl of the highway are all stripped away. You are no longer traveling across the landscape, you are effectively folding it. This is the death of distance, replaced by a seamless, silent, and terrifyingly fast connection. At number 7, we enter the era of the flying taxi. This is the moment the sky transforms into your personal highway. With a simple tap on your smartphone, a vertical takeoff aircraft descends from the clouds, hovering precisely above your rooftop. You step inside, and within seconds, you are rising above the urban sprawl, leaving the noise of the streets behind, to navigate the clear, open corridors of the air. It is a shift from complex logistics to immediate point-to-point freedom. But if the flying taxi makes flight accessible, our next entry makes it intimate. At number 6, the jetpack suit finally turns the dream into reality. This is not a vehicle you sit inside. It is a machine you become. It grants the wearer the raw mobility of a superhero. You feel the thrust beneath your arms, the wind against your face, and the total control of three-dimensional movement. You simply ignite the thrusters. The sky is now open, accessible, and ready to be navigated by anyone with the ambition to rise. At number 5, we shift from the grace of flight to the raw, unyielding power of the amphibious tank. This is a tactical beast engineered to ignore the traditional geography that has dictated military strategy for centuries. Where standard vehicles are forced to halt at the edge of a river or a marsh, this machine simply keeps moving. It does not look for a bridge. It creates its own path. As it reaches the water, the hull seals, the propulsion systems shift, and the tank descends beneath the surface. It navigates the riverbed with the same mechanical certainty it displays on solid ground, allowing it to flank positions that were previously considered impassable barriers. This is the definition of tactical dominance. It turns a natural obstacle into a hidden highway, moving through depths that would crush lesser machines. The engineering here is focused on absolute persistence. The tank does not just cross the water, it conquers it, ensuring that no barrier remains a permanent wall. At number 4, we pivot from the raw force of heavy armor to the silent, elegant efficiency of the solar-powered car. This vehicle represents a fundamental shift in how we power our movement, moving away from the finite, combustion-based cycles of the past. The exterior is coated in high-efficiency photovoltaic cells, turning the entire surface area into a massive mobile energy harvester. As you drive, the car does not merely consume energy. It actively captures the sun's radiation, converting light directly into kinetic force. This eliminates the need for refueling stops or reliance on traditional fossil fuel infrastructure. You are no longer tethered to a pump or a grid. The road itself becomes your power source. This technology forces a rethink of global transportation, proving that mobility can be decoupled from pollution. It is a machine engineered for longevity, designed to operate as long as the sun remains in the sky. By integrating these solar arrays into the chassis, the vehicle maintains a constant state of charge. It is a quiet revolution in engineering, prioritizing endurance and self-sufficiency. The era of the fossil fuel engine is closing, and the age of the infinite range machine is beginning. At number 3, we enter the realm of extreme velocity with the supersonic jet. This machine is engineered to shatter the sound barrier, compressing vast distances into brief, exhilarating flights. As the jet accelerates, it pushes against the air until the atmosphere itself begins to ripple, creating a sonic boom that announces its arrival long before it is seen. The airframe is built to withstand the immense pressure of supersonic flight, turning the sky into a compressed, high-speed corridor. It is a masterclass in aerodynamic precision, where every angle is calculated to minimize drag and maximize thrust. Moving to number 2, we encounter the maglev train, a marvel that defies the very concept of friction. By utilizing powerful electromagnetic fields, the train lifts itself inches above the guideway. There is no contact, no grinding of metal on metal, and no mechanical resistance to slow its momentum. It glides on a cushion of magnetic force, allowing it to achieve record-breaking speeds that were previously impossible for ground-based transport. The acceleration is smooth, silent, and relentless, pushing the limits of what steel and magnets can achieve when they work in perfect harmony. Finally, at number 1, we reach the pinnacle of modern engineering, the spaceplane. This vessel bridges the vast, silent gap between our atmosphere and the stars. Unlike traditional rockets that require massive launch pads and vertical staging, then the spaceplane is designed to operate like a conventional aircraft. It accelerates down a standard runway, its engines burning with enough force to pierce the thick layers of the lower atmosphere. As it climbs, the air thins, and the vehicle transitions into a high-velocity orbital craft. It is a masterpiece of thermal protection and propulsion, built to endure the blistering heat of re-entry while maintaining the precision of a landing glider. This vehicle effectively turns the edge of space into a destination. It is the machine that will transform orbital travel from a rare, high-stakes mission into a routine reality. Imagine taking off from a local airfield and, within minutes, looking down at the curvature of the Earth from the silence of orbit. The spaceplane does not just push the limits of physics. It redefines the scope of human reach. It represents the final step in our evolution of transit, where the sky is no longer the ceiling. The era of space tourism is a tangible future waiting on the tarmac. From the gridlock streets where we began, to the silent, dark expanse of orbit, we have traversed the entire spectrum of human ingenuity. We have seen vehicles that turn water into roads, machines that lift us above the congestion of our cities, and craft that treat the sound barrier as a mere suggestion. Each of these 11 marvels represents a fundamental shift in how we interact with the physical world. The question now is not what is possible, but which of these futures you would integrate into your own life. Would you choose the quiet glide of a maglev train for your morning commute, or the vertical freedom of a flying taxi to bypass the city sprawl? Perhaps you see yourself piloting a spaceplane, leaving the atmosphere behind, to witness the Earth from above. The technology is no longer a distant concept. It is the blueprint for our next century of movement. We want to know your preference. Which of these engineering feats would you choose to redefine your daily travel? Drop your choice in the comments below and tell us why. If this look into the mechanics of tomorrow sparked your curiosity, hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. We are constantly tracking the latest breakthroughs in physics and engineering, and you will not want to miss our next deep dive into the technology that is shaping the future. The road ahead is changing, and we are here to show you exactly how it will be built. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the limits of modern transit. Stay tuned, stay curious, and we will see you in the next update.